Anyone can see that America is barreling towards a major turning point in the 2024 presidential election. Trust in our political institutions are at an all-time low. High inflation is ravaging retiree savings. The globe is teetering on the brink of world war. The national debt is over $33 trillion, and we're adding $1 trillion on top every few months now. High interest rates are making it harder to get credit and pay for housing. Hundreds of thousands of workers are striking across the country, and unemployment is starting to rise for the first time in years. If you're in your 50s or older, you might be wondering, what the heck is happening to my country? Are we living in a banana republic? And you'd be right for asking that question. But sadly, I'm here to tell you, you haven't seen anything yet, because I'm expecting a massive twist in the presidential election as early as August 19th, one that will change the course of the 2024 presidential election and our country, and bring socialism into the mainstream in America. It has nothing to do with voting machines or accusations of funny business at the ballot box you might have read about. Instead, for reasons I'll soon show you, I believe August 19th, 2024 will mark the date America could transform forever. It will impact millions of Americans and you. But there's a place you can run to with your family, your money, your business that I'll show you in just a second. A refuge for Americans who love liberty, prosperity, hard work, opportunity, and privacy. Because what you're about to see will not only keep Donald Trump from re-election, but put him down in the history books as having been the last Republican president. And Biden, I don't think he'll win the election either. Look, I'm no medical doctor, but do I need to be one in order to see Joe Biden isn't firing on all cylinders? Whether it's a nonsense statement, shaking hands with invisible people, blank stares, or falling downstairs, Democrats are scared. Which is why we believe the people running the Democratic Party have given tacit approval for a shadow presidential campaign to be launched in the background, paving the way for a much different candidate. As you'll see, the winner of the 2024 election could trigger an economic and financial crisis the likes of which we've never seen before. If you believe Joe Biden's big spending has America headed for financial ruin, you've seen nothing yet. Because I believe the next president could quickly tip inflation back up to 5%, 9%, and even into double digits. We could see a recession upending our economy. Stimulus checks could become the norm as universal basic income is rolled out. Trillions could be added to the national debt as more student loan debt is canceled nationwide. Taxes could spike to rates not seen in our lifetimes. The stock market could crash by 20% or more. Big tech will censor millions of dissenting Americans after the election is called. Migration and crime rates will spread out from major cities into suburban areas, making even safe neighborhoods look like the streets of San Francisco or downtown LA. Homelessness could spread to manicured streets in areas that were once idyllic, with many on the streets being elderly. Woke culture could become the dominant culture in America, instead of just a loud fringe group. Foreign aggressors could likely take over more of the globe without the U.S. doing a thing about it. And the war on fossil fuels could be accelerated as the economy goes fully green and the cost of living continues to soar. All because of what I see coming out of California. My firm is independently funding this message today because there's still time to prepare. We're not influenced by any donor, politician, or corporation. So please pay close attention. Because if you think Republicans can win the White House and stop the spread of socialism in America, think again. I'm about to show you how the radical left won't give them the chance. And in the meantime, the clock is ticking as big government puts us on the path of financial ruin. Every day, your savings are being eaten away by inflation. Your privacies and freedoms are being threatened. And by election day, it will be too late. Which is why I'm recommending every freedom-loving American take 5 simple steps to protect your savings, your investments, and your freedom while there's still time. I'll show you how in just a moment, and I'll introduce you to a group of like-minded Americans who will share your values that you can rely on for support in the age of chaos that's coming. I'll show you the 3 popular but flag stocks you do not want to own as election day approaches. And I'll show you the election stocks that I believe will soar based on the research I'm sharing with my readers, so they have the best chance to profit. Best of all, these are 5 moves you can start making minutes after watching this video if you take the right steps to help you prepare and preserve your wealth at this pivotal point in our history, before the face of America changes forever. But first, you might be wondering why you should listen to me. My name is Louis Navellier. You might have seen me on Fox Business, CNBC, Bloomberg, and the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, my writing in the Epoch Times, or as a speaker at the #1 freedom conference in the world, Freedom Fest, and many other conferences where I speak to thousands of liberty-loving Americans about how to be freer and more financially prosperous. I get calls anytime financial markets are worried about energy prices, inflation, war, elections, you name it. Over 40 years ago, I was granted access to one of Wells Fargo's mainframe computers to help build one of the first index funds when I was just still a teenager. Shortly after that, I became a banking analyst. But as you'll see in just a moment, you shouldn't hold that against me. That experience gave me a view of the corrupt underbelly of the government and the banking industry. It turned my stomach so much that I walked out the door and started my own private investment firm. Family and friends gave me the seed money, and they're very happy they did. First, I created a computer program that helped me forecast some of the most iconic moves in the stock market ever, identifying Dell Computer, Microsoft, and Apple as stocks to buy before those companies became household names. These algorithms have gone head-to-head with the track records of Peter Lynch and multi-billionaire Warren Buffett and won. I got to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Billionaire Steve Forbes said I have the most enviable long-term track record of investment recommendations. Even though we're friends, Steve won't go on the record with a statement like that unless it was true. For decades, I've been privately advising the financial elite on how to handle their investments. In that time, I've helped them avoid some of the worst financial bloodbaths in American history. For instance, I sounded the alarm bell before the Black Monday crash in 1987. I warned my clients about the dot-com crash in 2000. Forbes magazine noted that, unlike Wall Street, I was warning investors that they shouldn't touch Enron with a 10-foot pole. More specifically, I recommended selling when the stock hit $61, locking in a nice profit. I was even able to call out the 2008 financial crisis before the market tanked. And I was even honored to rub elbows with President Ronald Reagan. My work and success has put me in contact with politicians, mega donors, and some of the most politically connected people on the planet. But you might be wondering, if I'm such a big deal and so successful, why am I talking to you today? Why not just run a billion-dollar private investment firm and not weigh in on politics? Why not fly around in a private jet, retire in Palm Beach, and hang out at Mar-a-Lago and say hi to former President Trump when he stops by? And the answer is, I do. Yes, I've had 4 jets, and I do spend time at Mar-a-Lago. But the truth is, I really don't care about the billions of dollars around me. Celebrities don't impress me. I'm saying none of this to brag. I actually don't like talking about myself like this, but there's a reason for it. You need to know that when it comes to the financial markets, growing your wealth, managing your savings, and protecting what's yours, it's worth a few minutes of your time to listen to me. As grateful as I am to be wealthy today, and as easy as it would be to simply retire, I think of my father, who sacrificed to provide for his family. He lived in an America that was more financially honest. The average Joe could work hard, get ahead, and enjoy a comfortable retirement. That America is dying. And by the time the 2024 election is done, I believe the future will never be the same. The men and women who are going to get hurt the worst are people like my father. Honest, hardworking, disgusted with Wall Street, politicians, and the deranged progressive agendas, living in a system that's rigged against them. Because you're viewing this and maybe nodding your head at what I'm saying, I'm betting you're one of these salt-of-the-earth people, just like my dad, which is why I'm doing this, to help protect yourself and even grow wealthy in the coming election chaos. And why, today, I'm coming forward with an even bolder forecast. To pull back the curtain on the radical left's attempt to turn our country into a socialist nightmare. And also, surprisingly, clear the field of Biden, who's looking like a sure loser right now. That's why the Democrats' shadow candidate is currently running for president of the United States, while all eyes are still focused on Biden. Already, the shadow candidate is running ads in 7 states. A political action committee has been created to raise and spend money campaigning his policies. This Democratic shadow nominee is taking meetings with foreign leaders and even scheduling debates already, all in preparation for Biden being forced out of the race in the coming months. Be it Biden's mental acuity at 81 years old, new revelations about the Biden family scandals, or just the way Bidenomics is running America into the ground. The odds seem very high now that Biden will not make it to the November 3rd, 2024 presidential election. A recent CNN poll recently showed that every single Republican candidate is now running neck and neck when matched head-to-head with Joe Biden. That's sending alarm bells off in the Democratic Party. 58% of those polled said that Biden's policies have made economic conditions worse, and only 33% describe him as someone they are proud to have as president. And 2/3 of Democratic-leaning voters now say the party should nominate someone else. Newsweek reported that Joe Biden's nightmare election scenario might be coming true, as a recent poll found that 1/3 of Democrats would vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as an independent, a boost from the 25% who said they would vote for him in the primaries, meaning that RFK Jr.'s campaign could turn Biden's bid for re-election into a guaranteed loss for the Democrats in 2024. Put simply, the Democrats cannot risk running Joe Biden for re-election in 2024, and they know it. Meanwhile, former President Trump has been tied up in indictment after indictment. His political opponents are targeting him from before, during, and after his term in office, taking away his time on the campaign trail, his resources, and his energy. In total, he'll spend several weeks in court instead of on the campaign trail, and has over $100 million in legal fees. The media is largely blacking him out too. Judges are slapping him and his lawyers with gag orders and fines. And now there are even attempts to remove him from state ballots altogether. The odds are becoming higher by the day that Donald Trump will land in jail. Not because I think he deserves to be there, I don't. But I believe the left is hell-bent on sending him there. And even though there's no law preventing a convicted felon from serving as president, my bet is just enough Americans won't vote for Trump if he's sitting in jail, such that he won't be able to win. To a lot of people, the Democrats are using the justice system to wage legal warfare on Trump. Sadly, I think it'll work, but I hope I'm wrong. But I'm just following the data to its logical conclusion. The bottom line, by using either his health, his family, or both, it seems highly likely Joe Biden will be pushed to the side by the Democrats, all while making the justice system seem fair and neutralizing Trump on the campaign trail by sapping his resources, time, and energy. The obvious question is, if not Biden, who? Unfortunately for the Democrats, their bench is thin. Vice President Kamala Harris is a non-starter for obvious reasons. Her word salads have become infamous nonsense, which is probably why a recent NBC News Hart Research poll showed that Vice President Harris has received a net negative favorability rating of -17. That's the lowest net negative rating for a vice president in the history of the poll. So if you're a Democratic strategist trying to win the election, Kamala is a non-starter, which is why the Democrats are already building up their shadow candidate to replace Biden. Someone who can take the agenda started by Barack Obama, that's being advanced by today's Biden economics agenda, and complete the transformation of America. A transformation that's becoming more and more apparent with every day that passes. Over the past 3 years, Americans have become broke, angry, and confused about how difficult it is to get ahead in America. Whether it's inflation ravaging the poor and middle class, with energy, food, and housing prices soaring, record debt being added to our national tab, where the interest costs alone are over $1 trillion, more than our nation's defense spending. Global conflicts bring us to the brink of World War III, banks failing, technology wiping out jobs, while the bulk of the spoils go to the billionaires. Bald-faced political corruption, central bankers printing money like crazy to keep the power structure glued together, or baby boomers without any money to retire. Any way you slice it, the land of opportunity is becoming a trap for the majority of Americans, which is transforming America from the land of the free into the land of the dependents. In 2020, 61% of Americans paid no federal income tax. That's 107 million Americans. In 2022, 41 million Americans received food stamps. Meanwhile, the number of government employees is soaring. Our country is becoming poorer, our government is becoming bigger, and our representatives are totally out of touch with our founding fathers' values. America is becoming like one giant California from coast to coast, which is actually the Biden economics plan. As the LA Times wrote, "Make America California again?" That's Biden's plan. And that's more fitting than you know, because the shadow candidate that I believe could replace Biden in the 2024 election and land in the White House is the perfect poster child for the spend, regulate, and welfare policies that the left is clamoring for. Because I believe the next president of the United States could be California Governor Gavin Newsom. Even TheHill.com is now admitting Biden will be the nominee, but Newsom is the one actually running for president. And according to Betfair.com, the odds of who wins the Democratic nomination are Biden with the best chance, followed up by Newsom in second place. And as of this recording, the candidate polling to become the next president behind Trump and Biden is Newsom. Which means if Biden's out, Newsom's in. The groundwork is being laid for anyone to see. Business Insider said Gavin Newsom got grilled on 60 Minutes about whether he intends to run for president. This time, his answer wasn't no. Right now, he isn't directly challenging Biden, but he's waiting in the wings for Biden to back out and acting like he's already in the race. Already, Newsom has traveled to Israel right after the Hamas attack. He traveled to China to meet President Xi. He's traveled across the southern United States to court voters and community groups for local candidates in several Republican states, from Alabama to Missouri to Arkansas. Why would the governor of liberal California trek all the way from his progressive utopia to go to Arkansas? He's even scheduled his own televised debate with presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis. Ask yourself, why would a governor be doing all of this unless he was trying to get the big job? Which is why I believe August 19th could be such a critical date in this development. See, right now, with Biden in the race, the Democratic field is essentially cleared, and Biden will sail through the nomination process. The National Democratic Convention is set for August 19th, 2024 in Chicago. That's the date Biden will need to bow out by. I believe that when he does, thanks to the nomination rules of the Democratic Party, the superdelegates, political operatives within the party that help decide the party's nominee, will have an easy time steering the nomination to Newsom, the obvious replacement. Which is why Newsom's shadow campaign will stay in the shadows for now. Until, in a surprise, I believe he'll be drafted by the superdelegates to take over the party from Biden. You need to start preparing for what will come next, now. Because while this all plays out, radical socialism is destroying the country. From high gas, food, and housing prices, to rising crime, to insane spending and borrowing, to sleepwalking into World War III. Your money and freedom are already under attack. And by the time Newsom is swapped in by the Democrats, I believe the final stage of America's transformation will begin. The coming Californication of America. California, the state Newsom governs right now, is essentially like a country of its own. Now, my family's California roots go back generations. I love the place. I love the people. But if you want a glimpse into America's future, all you need to do is look at how fast the Golden State was destroyed by Newsom and the left. That's why I got the hell out of there, like tens of thousands of other Californians. And if you agree, the evidence I'm about to show you in a second, when Newsom's hand goes on top of the Bible to be sworn in on January 20th, 2025, the Californication of America will accelerate. And your life will never be the same. Just think about it. California is the 5th largest economy in the world. Throughout the second half of the 20th century, everybody wanted to move to California. It has many of the country's most prestigious universities, all sorts of natural splendors, resources, amazing weather, booming entertainment and technology sectors, nearly 40 million citizens. It's nearly impossible to screw up a state like California. Yet it was all squandered in a matter of years, thanks to the radical left policies of Gavin Newsom and people like him. Take a look at the streets of California today. Despite spending over $10 billion on homelessness, California is seeing tent cities pop up all over the state. Getting ahead as a California citizen is becoming near impossible. California's unfunded pension liabilities are a major concern for California retirees. And simple tools of life, like cars and appliances, are being systematically targeted to be banned. California has historically had a thriving car culture, but now its radical green energy scams have banned gas car sales by 2035. And want to cook a meal with a common gas stove? Well, good luck with that. Newsom is pushing to ban all natural gas appliances. No worries. You might think, I'll just go eat out. Well, Newsom is screwing that up too, with the prices of even cheap fast food going up because of high new minimum wage laws. And maybe you'd even be able to pay those prices if only California would stop increasing its taxes on you and taking your money. California's public education system for kids has become a total joke too, focusing more on woke nonsense instead of math, science, and reading. The Telegraph put it bluntly, writing, Gavin Newsom's woke policies are hurting children's education. Is it any wonder their parents are leaving the state? Just imagine what Newsom could accomplish if he had an entire country to work on. California is a microcosm of what I believe America will become once Gavin Newsom takes over for Biden heading into 2024. And the end result is clear. Take a look at these headlines. California has lost its superpower. The California dream is dying. 40% of California residents say they're considering leaving the state. Most say they're being priced out. Replace California in those headlines with America, and you'll have tomorrow's national headlines today. Now, you might be thinking people wouldn't vote for Newsom over, say, Trump. And if this was any other election, you might be right. A president like Biden presiding over these trends would get kicked to the curb fast. And as long as Biden's political opponent promises change and sensible solutions to the problem, he'd win. But this isn't a normal election. Besides Trump potentially being behind bars and third-party candidates like RFK Jr. siphoning votes away, there are two forces in America right now that make this election different than any in U.S. history. They could catapult Newsom to the White House despite the clear evidence that his socialist policies are a surefire way to destroy the country. Two forces that will transform America in 2024. If you want to see America's destiny, you only have to look at its demographics. And there are two demographic forces that could make this election the most dangerous ever, and not only keep Donald Trump from reclaiming the White House, but keep a Republican from ever becoming the president again. The first force are millennials, and the second force is Gen Z. Together, these two generations make up the largest voting group outside of the baby boomers, which is why Brookings says younger voters are poised to upend American politics. But it's not just that there are so many millennials and Gen Zers. It's that they are saddled with too much student debt, too little income, and too few assets to get ahead. They will be the first generations in America who have a worse life than their parents. That, combined with woke ideologies, are creating a new political force in America we haven't seen at the ballot box. We can expect promises of student loan forgiveness, free health care, free universal child care, all luring more and more millennials to vote for the Democrats, even as they age. The trend used to be that voters got more conservative in America as they got older. But that hasn't held true for the millennials because of the financial pressures they're facing. The Financial Times says millennials are shattering the oldest rule in politics, adding conservatives are at risk from generations of voters who are no longer moving to the right as they age. Gen Z seems even more radical, with ABC News reporting that voters under 30 are trending left of the general electorate. And a recent poll found that a third of U.S. adults now embrace Marxist views. By 2028, these generations are scheduled to be the largest voting bloc in the U.S. Once they take the majority, you can bet your bottom dollar that anyone promising less government, less handouts, and less benefits will never see the White House again. These voters will prefer Gavin Newsom's socialist policies. They'll want everything that costs money for free. Anything goes social policies, and anybody in the White House but Donald Trump. And today, enough of the older voting generations won't vote for Trump, especially if he's convicted. The 2024 election is being steered into an outcome the Democrats want right now. Their number one political opponent is neutralized. Their political supporters are becoming the majority of the electorate. And by replacing Biden at the last minute with Gavin Newsom, their party will be re-energized by someone who can complete the Obama-Biden agenda and run for re-election again in 2028. The time to get prepared is right now, because the question you should be asking yourself right now is, with everyone leaving California to get away from Newsom and his policies, where will Americans run to if he gets into the White House and America becomes California? The good news is there is a safe harbor, and a group of Americans just as concerned about their futures in this country as you are. I'm going to introduce them to you now. But first, there are some critical steps you need to take right now, because I believe over the next 12 months, you're going to see even worse attacks on your freedom, your wallet, and your privacy than the war big government is already waging on you. The first step protects your money and sets you up for a massive opportunities as we get closer to Biden bowing out of the election. Step number 1, dump these 3 flagged election stocks. Get into these 3 election stocks now. The truth is, as worrisome as the policy of Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden are, as chaotic as I believe the 2024 election will be, there's no need to outright panic if you know how to position your portfolio. That's why I've just put together a free report called the 2024 Election Blueprint. Inside, I'm going to show you 3 election stocks that most investors likely have buried in their portfolios right now that are ticking time bombs as we get closer to the election. You're going to want to check your portfolio, 401k or IRA for these tickers. And if you own any of them, sell immediately. Then I'm going to give you the names of 3 companies that I believe will soar over the next 18 months as the 2024 election drama unfolds. After you positioned your portfolio, you're going to want to take one of the most profitable and patriotic steps you can take with your money. Step number 2, profit off of the green news scam. The next report I want to give you is about the sector that stands to rocket upwards the most in the next 3 to 5 years. The Democrats' insane mangling of our economy is actually going to make this industry even more profitable. And Gavin Newsom is going to kick this opportunity into overdrive when he brings California's green news scam policies into the White House. How can I say this? Actually, it's already happening. You've probably read about the left-wing ESG movement. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. Basically, the libs are pushing for major investment institutions to plow their money and your money into green projects. Even if anyone with a working brain can see many of these projects are doomed to fail. Because of the ESG trend, oil stocks were avoided. But now reality is setting back in. It's clear we need fossil fuels to survive. So oil stocks are roaring back. That won't stop Newsom and the Democrats from ramming green energy policies down all our throats. But at the end of the day, the reality is we need to use oil and natural gas. And the only thing that the radical left might hate more than the fossil fuel industry is the profit motive, which gives us a 2-for-1 deal as they try to impose their agenda on it. We can trigger a few liberal tears by making some money on good old-fashioned fossil fuels. And don't worry if you think you've missed the boat on the energy plays that have soared. I've got good news. The oil sector is just warming up, and soon profits could gush higher and higher. After being locked down for 2 years, people are traveling. That means all the planes, trains, and automobiles are burning more and more fuel. I'm sure you've seen the prices at the gas pump. Biden can blame Putin all he wants, but you and I both know it was his green energy policy and his war on fossil fuel that sent crude oil skyrocketing. And now with the war raging in the Middle East, natural gas and oil are set to have another big tailwind as supply chains get called into question. As a result, oil companies could have more record high profits. And I found 5 that can deliver you amazing profits. None of these 5 stocks have a big name you already know, like BP or Chevron. Instead, my algorithms are flashing buy for different oil companies. This means you stand to make 10 times your money or even 20 times your money by investing in just one of these companies. I'm confident of this because one of the plays I recommended to my readers went up 15 times. Yes, it soared 1,500%. If someone had invested $10,000 in that one play, they'd be sitting on $150,000 right now. Like I said earlier, you didn't miss the boat. This global trend is just getting warmed up. You'll get the names of my 5 oil companies in my report, Oil Stocks Set to Rocket Up, How to Profit from the Insane ESG Policies. Step number 3, inflation-proof your financial life. Aside from oil, there's another move I recommend you make to protect yourself against inflation. Right now, everyone thinks inflation is over. But look at the trajectory of federal spending right now. Our borrowing and spending are making our debt grow much faster than the economy is growing. And there's still a year left of Biden in the White House. That debt spiral will be even worse under a Newsom administration. That spells one thing: inflation will roar back and be a new normal. But there is a step you can take to protect yourself. Take a look at this chart. The red line shows the increase in the value of gold. As you can see, it's gone up 437%, making gold a solid hedge against inflation. I think it's an excellent idea to have gold in your portfolio. However, if you look at the blue line, you see it went up a jaw-dropping 3,800%. That's high enough to turn $10,000 into over $380,000, or $100,000 into an amazing $3.8 million. How much would you be worried about inflation if you were sitting on almost $4 million? Especially if you knew it could keep growing. You see, this blue line is a certain sector of the economy that has proven to be the best hedge against long-term inflation that I've ever seen in my 40-plus year career. And at this very moment, my algorithms are signaling this is the perfect time to invest in this sector. Right now, this very moment. So I've rushed to put together a report revealing exactly how to invest in this trend. It's called The Inflation Solution: How to Make More Money as Inflation Screams Higher. How can you claim all 3 of these reports? Well, the truth is, all this information is just a small part of a much bigger project. You see, I keep my ear to the floor of what's happening behind closed doors in this country, using both my network and my analysis of the markets, and I contribute that information to a small community. I send the most crucial and potentially profit-producing updates: which stocks to buy, which to sell, how to move your money, what the insiders are doing in real time. But there are a lot of other steps outside of which stocks to buy or sell that you need to know if you're going to survive and thrive during the Californication of America. And to help you with those, I need to introduce you to some friends of mine that can help you. See, I'm part of a group of freedom-loving Americans, a group of people who want to see a little more 1776 in America and a little less 1984, a group who likes freedom, small government, personal responsibility, profit and prosperity, good humor, common sense, and community. And I think you'll fit right in. It's called the Freeport Society. And we believe that free minds, free speech, free enterprise, and free markets make America the greatest country in history. But we don't spend our time agonizing over public policies, economic trends, or political debates. Instead, we focus on helping individuals in the society live the freest, most prosperous life possible. The Freeport Society is a club for people looking around at what's happening in America and wondering what the hell happened to our country and how we can get it back on track. Every year, our government gets closer and closer to acting like a banana republic dictatorship, one that jails political opponents, prints endless amounts of money, spies on its citizens, and censors the media. And the 2024 election will mark the point of no return, which is why today, for the first time, we're allowing new members into the society. We have some of the brightest and capable minds in all of investing, personal liberty, personal finance, and personal safety. Even though I'm going public with this warning today, our members value their privacy. So while I won't name them here, let me show you what I mean about their pedigree. Our investment director holds a master's degree in finance and accounting from the London School of Economics in the United Kingdom. He's issued warnings and guided investors for the better part of a decade, routinely delivering massive gains to his clients. Our board also includes 2 investment data scientists that have proprietary algorithms for scanning all major social media apps to monitor trends and consumer behavior in America. And our off-the-grid wealth expert is a multimillionaire solely from focusing on alternative assets that 99% of investors and Wall Street ignores. One of our members is a reclusive millionaire who runs the largest independent financial network on the planet. The other is the CEO of a major public company who has accurately predicted nearly every major financial and societal crisis. Another board member in our society is a hard assets expert who has earned his place in the rare coin pantheon as a leading coin merchant of his time. He specializes in portfolio construction, building, and helping clients acquire the world's finest rare coins. He helps high net worth clients protect themselves using precious metals. But to be clear, we're not a bunch of doom and gloomers. We have a former Goldman Sachs executive and medical doctor on the Society's board who knows how you can live healthier and wealthier for longer, and connections to turn to for tax insights, insurance, alternative assets, and much more, all of which gives us members hope, opportunity, and peace of mind. Members of the Society look to each of these experts for guidance on getting more freedom in every area of their lives. And they've prepared a few more steps we believe you need to take immediately if you want to turn your portfolio and household into your own Freeport that lets you live your life on your terms. Step number 4, lock in this off-the-grid income. For example, the Freeport Society's off-the-grid wealth expert gave me the green light to spill one of his most closely guarded secrets. At the Freeport Society, we fully expect everyday Americans will go through a cash flow crisis as inflation crushes household budgets, which makes income more important than ever before. We also fully expect financial privacy to disappear as more and more of your transactions and investments are tracked and scrutinized, which is why the report my colleague here penned at the Freedom Society is so important to get in your hands today. It's a form of investment that's more than just under the radar. It's off the radar. This has nothing to do with precious metals or collectibles or stockpiling essentials. Instead, this is a form of investment that has sheltered investors from the terrible performance of many stocks in the last couple of years. In fact, yields on this special type of investment rose 2,000%. This isn't treasury bonds or corporate bonds. It's completely less known. This specific type of investment is also often tax-free. You heard me right. You get to make money, maintain your privacy, and not pay a lick of taxes. Zero. This form of investment is also nearly risk-free. In some cases, you're guaranteed to get paid. But this isn't treasuries or corporate bonds. It's completely different and delivers excellent returns even in market crashes and depressions. We at the Freeport Society would like to show you exactly how to take advantage of this off-the-radar investment. That's why our off-the-grid wealth expert has put all the vital information about this form of investment into a report called Off the Radar Income. It's yours free today when you join the ranks of our society. But perhaps the biggest resource the society has prepared for its members, which we'll send to you for free today when you join us, is the last step you need to take. Step number 5, claim the Freeport Society's manifesto, Investing in the Age of Chaos. This last step isn't one single trick or tip. Instead, it's a commitment to a larger strategy and a set of actions you need to take to get and keep your freedoms as this next election approaches. You'll need to follow a specific formula the Freeport Society's experts have developed that helps you plan, implement, and grow your freedom. See, the 2024 election and the Californication of America we expect is going to usher in a new age of volatility in the financial markets. We call it the age of chaos. From political upheaval to inflation and high interest rates to endless war to the exponential progress of technology that's reshaping how we live and work. We're staring down one of the most frightening, most volatile, and most opportunity-filled decades in U.S. history. Even more troubling, thanks to the confluence of 3 giant long-term trends, I believe the next decade will be a period of extreme change and social strife. It will be an era that will seem like madness to billions of people. We will exit this decade a different society than the one that entered it. We'll see historic transfers of wealth. People who are rich now will be penniless when the decade is over. People who are penniless now will possess huge fortunes. Industries and economies will boom and bust at rates that will make people's heads spin. Stock and bond prices will soar and crash at light speed. These 3 trends are exponential technological progress, mass debasement of the dollar and all Western paper currencies, and deglobalization. Any one of these trends is a huge change agent by itself, but together they will bring total chaos to markets, politics, and society. Even if we're half right on how the next 10 years will play out, people will still feel deeply unsettled, confused, and worried, which is why we published a brand new ebook to maximize your freedom, privacy, and peace of mind. It's called Investing in the Age of Chaos. It's divided into 2 sections, Understanding this Coming Age of Chaos and Strategies for Growing Your Assets, Income, and Opportunities in the Face of It. This 100-plus page ebook is not available on Amazon, and it's not being sold anywhere else online at any price, and it never will be. It's only available for Society members. This is the very first resource you should open and take action on. It's the foundation for reclaiming your financial independence. It will introduce you to many of the Society's experts too, and give you our roadmap for the decade ahead, so you can make decisions with confidence for years to come. Right now, Investing in the Age of Chaos has only been seen by maybe a dozen or so current members of the Freeport Society. But once you're initiated as a Freeport Society member today, we'll send you password-protected access to it right away. How do you become a member? Well, until today, you couldn't. For about a year now, we've been building out the Freeport Society among a small, hand-selected group. Just me and my colleagues working with each other to find opportunities and live freer lives. But today, for the first time, we're accepting new Society members. There are a few conditions, though. If you're politically correct, this is not the place for you. All our experts speak truth to power, no matter how uncomfortable it is to hear. And if you're like many people today and easily offended, it's probably best you don't join. My guess is, if you've watched this presentation this far, you're not easily offended. Second, we expect you to take responsibility for your actions and your freedom. Society can help you make your life a free port of opportunity, wealth, and happiness. But we can't do the work for you. If you're willing to take extreme responsibility for your outcomes, then you've met the basic criteria, and I'd like to get you free, immediate access to everything I've discussed here, completely free of charge. All we ask in return is that you try a no-risk trial subscription to the Society's flagship publication, introducing the Freeport Investor. Every month, the Freeport Investor will show you the number one opportunity to invest your money, time, or energy to help you gain more freedom and peace of mind no matter what's happening in the markets or the economy. Our investment director, Charles Sizemore, will write to you with the biggest opportunity he's seen. And he's worked alongside best-selling financial author and economic strategist Harry S. Dent Jr. in creating original research on the effects of changing global demographics on asset returns and economic growth. Think of Charles as the chair of the Freeport Society. After he's shared his latest research and opportunity with you, we'll open the rest of the month's Freeport Investor to the latest ideas and opportunities from our other experts. One month, we could be covering how to get healthier so you can enjoy your money and retirement to the fullest. Maybe another month, we'll cover a new tax strategy because of a change in the tax code. Or we could cover the opportunities to leverage new AI technology to improve your productivity. Or show you an investment idea for leveraging the massive bull market in AI stocks we've seen. In another month, we could have one of our privacy experts showing you how to exercise your God-given right to be left alone in peace. I'll be there too, sharing the same types of investment ideas that I've shared with my clients for decades. With today's screaming high inflation, it's not enough to just keep your money safe. If you want to retire in comfort, you must grow your wealth starting today. Since that's my specialty, I'm the growth stock expert within the Freeport Society. I was invited to join the Society's board because of my track record. For instance, I recommended Amazon in 2003 at a split adjusted price of $2.31 a share. Today, it's worth nearly $1 trillion, trading for around $100 per share. I recommended Microsoft before it went up as much as 8,043%, enough to turn $10,000 into $814,300. I recommended Apple when it was trading at just 37 cents a share. People who followed my recommendation and held on for the long term could have made as much as 31,000%. That's enough to turn a $10,000 investment into $3.1 million. Now, these are some of my best gains. There will be some losers. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The Tribune reported that my track record was better than Warren Buffett, a multi-billionaire and the most famous investor in history. So I'll be there in the Freeport Investor given the same type of guidance because, let's face it, it's easier to live a freer life with money. And the select growth stocks I specialize in are some of the best tools to make money. But no matter what the expert contribution, every single idea will be geared towards helping you turn your home into a free port that lets you live life on your terms instead of the government's. The Freeport Society's experts will be at your beck and call month in and month out, helping you find freedom no matter what's happening with geopolitics, interest rates, the stock market, the business cycle, tax changes, disruptive technologies, consumer trends, geopolitical events, and so much more. It's super easy to read, and you'll always have the freedom of choice to pick and choose the ideas you want to act on. To my knowledge, no other research advisory of this kind gets even close to this level of access and insights across all areas of your life. And the good news is, since we're opening up enrollment to new members today for the first time ever, the Freeport Society's board just voted to extend totally risk-free access at a huge discount to the normal membership price. Soon we plan on charging $199 per year for membership, but for a limited time, we're allowing charter members to join the Freeport Investor for just $49. That's a 75% discount off the normal rate, or roughly $4 per month. So why is this so affordable? The board unanimously voted on these membership dues for these three reasons. One, we need to get to know each other. You don't know us that well, and we need to establish a relationship with you. Number two, the 2024 election is barreling towards us. Biden's socialist policies are already running the country into the ground. And when the shock announcement that I'm expecting lands Gavin Newsom as the 2024 Democratic nominee, I expect shockwaves to rock the financial system and the economy. And number three, all the members of the Freeport Society are expecting the next decade after this election to create an age of chaos. And we fully expect, after building a relationship with you starting today, that we'll do business together for years to come as we try to live freer lives together. Here's everything you get when you become a Charter Freeport Society member today. Our next 12 monthly issues of the Freeport Investor, jam-packed with investment recommendations and strategies to reclaim freedom in all areas of your life. Bonus report number 1, the 2024 election blueprint. Bonus report number 2, oil stocks set to rocket up, how to profit from insane ESG policies. Bonus report number 3, the inflation solution, how to make more money as inflation screams higher. Bonus report number 4, off the radar income. Free ebook, Investing in the Age of Chaos. You'll also get full access to the Freeport Society's online members clubhouse. That includes not just past issues, but also all the Society's past research reports, a Q&A portal, plus a regular updated look at our experts' model portfolios and ideas. And if you're not happy over the next 90 days, just let us know and we'll give you a full refund. But I'm confident you'll be happy you joined, because between the ongoing wars bringing us to the brink of World War III, the federal deficit exploding, Trump's mounting prosecutions, and the election surprise that I believe Democrats will announce to the world by August 19th, the volatility we're going to see in the financial markets, the economy, and society at large will shock you. Every single day, some new, shocking event seems to happen. So, the time to act is right now. And I believe it will reach a fever pitch as we approach the Democratic National Convention on August 19, 2024. If I'm right and Gavin Newsom becomes our next president, then the aftermath of the 2024 election will be total chaos. Now the choice is yours. If you're ready to join us, click the button on your screen and you'll be taken to a membership form you can fill out to enter the Freeport Society. As you can imagine, this choice will lead to a much different future than the first two. Next year, your spouse might look into your eyes, grasp your hand, and say, "Thank you." Their eyes might get watery, but it'll be tears of relief and gratitude. Listen, as someone who has achieved financial independence and freedom, I can still remember the exact moment when I knew I'd be okay, when my loved ones would be taken care of, when I knew I was free. It's one of the most wonderful feelings in the world, and I want you to have that feeling. You see, today, I'm part of the 1%. Actually, I'm part of the 0.1%, the financial elite of the elite. And I say that proudly as a self-made American. When I was growing up, my family was blue collar. My father was a bricklayer. I'd love to see Barack Obama or Joe Biden or even Gavin Newsom try to tell him, "You didn't build that." He labored long hours and sacrificed for his family. I joined the board of the Freeport Society as my way of doing the same for you. It's my way of continuing my father's legacy. I didn't get any silver spoon. I wasn't born into a world of political connections. I had to fight for everything and learn the system as an outsider. I'm grateful to say that the path I've taken has given me a unique understanding of the economy, markets, government, and how to maximize investment returns and the personal freedom it brings. Today, I work hard to make sure the good people of this country can enjoy the safe, secure, prosperous retirement they deserve. It's a bold dream, an American dream, and I'm inviting you to join us in the Freeport Society. What's your dream? Is it to provide safety for your loved ones? To be a leader in your community? To have total privacy and peace of mind? To be the go-to expert for getting through this frightening, dark time? Whatever it is, I bet it will be much easier to achieve if you don't have to worry about money or your security for a single moment again for the rest of your life. Join us today. With all that said, this membership definitely isn't suitable for everyone. The truths I revealed on this page would offend millions of people in this country. You, on the other hand, have learned that you have the power to safeguard your savings and even set yourself up for some big wins to grow real wealth. You've learned how this election could transform the face of America because of a bizarre convergence of polarizing candidates, banana republic tactics by politicians in power, new demographic trends, and a shadow campaign the Democratic Party is running right now to maintain control for the next 4 years. And you've been invited to join the society that's insulating itself from it all. Now, you must choose what you want to do with what you've learned. You've gotten a glimpse at the future here. Are you going to choose to let politicians make your life look like 1984? Or will you join us and claim your freedom like our founders did in 1776? Will you let the Dems like Newsom, AOC, Pelosi, and Elizabeth Warren mess with your money, property, family, and freedom? If your answer is no, then click the button below to start your risk-free trial. Take this small action right now. If your gut is stirring with a hint of excitement, that's a sign to go for it. Otherwise, if you put this off or dilly-dally to think about it, then the day might come when you wake up and you look around at a country you no longer recognize. You might remember the time when you were warned, when you were given a way out. This is that warning. This is the way out. This is the way to financial power and freedom. Take it. Click the button below to join the Freeport Investor and get access to all the free reports you've learned about today. Whatever day it is and whatever time it is now, you'll get access within minutes. Dive into what you discover. Follow the simple step-by-step directions, then feel the rush of excitement and relaxation rush through you. Secure in the knowledge that you've set yourself up for financial prosperity. Press the button on your screen to claim your 5 free reports and live free.